Chosen one, hear me now. This is not a coincidence. Heaven itself has pressed pause on the noise around you so you could hear this exact word. You have been wondering why the ground beneath you feels unstable. Why doors that once opened so easily now seem locked. Why familiar comforts no longer satisfy. It is because you are not being treated like the crowd. You are being treated like the chosen, and the chosen are refined differently. You have felt the pressure, the weight, the unexplainable battles that others around you cannot understand. They may laugh at your struggle or dismiss your seriousness, but you know deep down that something greater is unfolding, and tonight it is being revealed to you. God said, you are not ready for what's coming next. But this message is being delivered so that you will not remain unprepared. Every tear shed in silence, every restless night when your soul groaned for answers, none of it has been wasted. The training you received in pain is now about to become the strength you wield in glory. Beloved, you have been in a hidden season, but the veil is lifting, and heaven is exposing your true identity. You are not random. You are chosen. Stop doubting it. Stop questioning it. Even the warfare around you is a clue. Darkness does not fight what does not threaten it. And your life has been under siege precisely because you carry a light that terrifies the shadows. That is why every scheme, every whisper, every betrayal seemed targeted at you. It is because you are marked. But listen carefully. The moment you are in is a threshold. To step forward without preparation is dangerous. Yet, to delay in fear is equally costly. You are standing between mercy extended and mercy withdrawn, between grace offered and grace wasted. This word arrives like a trumpet blast. Awaken, align, and obey. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 13, "No temptation has overtaken you, except what is common to man. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear." This is your assurance. You may not be ready in yourself, but with God walking beside you, no valley can consume you. No shadow can overwhelm you. Chosen one, lift your head. You are stronger than the pain that tried to break you. You are more resilient than the doubts that tried to silence you. You are destined for a glory that will make sense of every unanswered question. But hear this clearly. You must make a decision now to rise into your calling, to no longer treat your destiny casually, to no longer silence the fire within you. Every whisper raised against you, every door shut in your face, was never meant to destroy you, but to prove that you are set apart, chosen one. Even in the darkness, your very presence shakes the enemy's schemes. That is the evidence that you are marked. And now, the heavens themselves are opening above you. This is no random moment. This is a direct invitation from heaven. If you step in, you will be clothed with a strength ordinary men cannot carry. If you refuse, you risk missing the empowerment already written in your destiny. You have run long enough from who you truly are. This is the hour of exposure. Heaven is looking for your response. Will you keep scrolling? Keep postponing? Keep silencing the tug in your spirit? Or will you say, "Yes, Lord, I am ready"? Do not underestimate the weight of this moment. Your obedience today will unlock doors tomorrow. Your surrender today will shield you from storms tomorrow. The crown is already carved with your name. The question is whether you will step into alignment to receive it. Beloved, If this word has pierced your heart, pause it now. Do not let it slip away. Engage with it. Seal it. Declare it. This is the moment to act in faith. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay connected. Because what is being poured here is not entertainment. It is sustenance for your spirit. Like this message. Share it, so others who are wandering may also awaken. And write boldly in the comments, 777, a prophetic act of completion and divine alignment. By typing it, you declare to heaven and to yourself that you choose to stand as the chosen, ready to rise. The valley has been long, the shadows have been heavy, but the rod and staff are with you, guiding you into the next season. Do not fear. Do not hesitate. This is your hour. Step forward. Chosen one. Let us step deeper now. The world has always misread you, but heaven has been watching closely. You have mistaken your bruises for weaknesses, yet they are the very proof of the fire that forged you. Those sleepless nights where your pillow was drenched in tears, those mornings where the weight of life felt unbearable, they were not the end of you. They were the chisels that carved hidden strength into your soul. Others see only the surface. They think you are fragile because they never witnessed the battles fought behind your closed doors. They will never fully know the burdens you carried in silence, the prayers you whispered when no one else understood. Yet God knew. Heaven recorded every struggle, every wound, every sigh of exhaustion that you thought no one noticed. And here is the mystery. What tried to bury you was actually building you. You must understand this truth now, because what lies ahead demands recognition of the strength already within you. You have been asking why the path has been harder for you than for others. Why betrayal struck you so deeply? Why rejection cut so sharply? It is because the oil of destiny does not rest lightly. It presses, it crushes, it demands a vessel refined enough to hold it. Do you not see it yet? Every fiery trial was training. Every heartbreak was a molding. Every delay was a divine appointment, shaping your endurance. The enemy wanted you to collapse under the weight, but instead, you were secretly becoming unshakable. And now, in this season, you will discover that what once wounded you now becomes the very weapon in your hand. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 20, verse 11. But the Lord is with me like a mighty warrior. So my persecutors will stumble and not prevail. They will fail and be disgraced. Chosen one. The shame that tried to cling to you will not last. The mocking voices will be silenced. The people who dismissed you, who called you too weak, too broken, too strange, they will witness the strength rising from your scars. What once humiliated, you will become the very mark of honor God places upon you. Look back for a moment, not to dwell, but to understand. Think of the moments you thought you would not survive. Think of the nights you wanted to give up, yet somehow breath still filled your lungs. Somehow you rose again. That was not accident. That was preservation. That was the mighty warrior walking beside you, refusing to let your story end in defeat. Do not call yourself weak anymore. Weakness is not your name. Survivor is not even your final name. You are an overcomer, a torchbearer, one who carries divine light into places where others falter. When you enter a room, the atmosphere shifts. Though you may not notice it, Your spirit carries weight. Your endurance carries authority. Your scars are sermons written without words. The danger now is to still see yourself through the lens of the old season. You cannot wear the garments of a prisoner when heaven calls you a liberator. You cannot think like the broken when heaven calls you whole. This is the hour of recognition, of standing up not only to the darkness around you, but to the lies within you. Beloved, you are stepping into an unveiling. The true measure of who you are is being exposed. Not to shame you, but to confirm you. Others may still mock, but their words no longer carry power. Why? Because you have already been through fires they could not endure. And only those who endure the furnace receive the authority of flame. Let this settle deep in you. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are signatures of victory. Every lash of pain became an inscription, declaring, "This one survived. This one overcame. This one carries the mark of the chosen." You are stronger than you realize. Not because of what you avoided, but because of what you endured. So rise now in the awareness of what has been forged inside you. Rise knowing that your strength is no accident. Your resilience, no coincidence. You were carved out of storms for a reason. You are not fragile clay left to crack. You are refined gold, purified by fire, destined to shine in places darkness thought unconquerable. Chosen one, let the truth ring in your spirit. You were never ordinary. The strength buried inside you is about to be revealed, not for your glory, but for God's glory. Walk boldly into the next chapter, because what was hidden is now being unveiled, and the world will finally see what heaven already knew. You are chosen, unbreakable, and unstoppable. Chosen one. You stand now at the threshold. The air is heavy with decision. You feel it in your chest, that deep stirring that tells you this is not a moment to scroll past, not a moment to delay. You are standing in a divine intersection where hesitation can cost you everything, and obedience can release your destiny. This is not just a word of encouragement, it is a word of warning. There are seasons when heaven waits patiently, allowing you to wander and stumble until you learn. But there are other seasons when the urgency of God comes crashing into your life, shaking you awake, saying, "Not another step backward." And tonight, you are in that second kind of season. Beloved, you are facing a test, not a test of intellect, not a test of talent, but a test of allegiance. Will you serve your calling or your comfort? Will you cling to excuses or surrender to destiny? The line is drawn clearly before you, and neutrality is no longer an option. The prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. That ancient question is still thundering in your ears. How long will you waver? Chosen one, how long will you keep one foot in the old life and one in the promise? How long will you allow fear to silence your obedience? Heaven is calling for a decisive yes. This is why the warfare against you has increased lately. The enemy knows that if you cross this threshold, you will no longer be contained. You will become dangerous to darkness, unstoppable in your purpose. That is why you've been attacked in your mind. Why confusion has tried to cloud your vision. Why temptations have suddenly intensified. It is because you are one decision away from stepping into your true authority. Do not mistake the weight of this moment for coincidence. The urgency you feel is the Spirit pressing on your heart. Mercy is still extended. But mercy does not linger forever. The longer you delay, the weaker your convictions become, until compromise feels comfortable and rebellion feels justified. This is the danger zone. You must choose now. Every chosen one in history faced this crossroad. Noah building an ark while others mocked. Moses standing before Pharaoh with nothing but a staff. Esther stepping into the king's court, uninvited. Each one had a moment where comfort screamed louder than calling. But they chose destiny, and their decision shifted history. Your choice now carries the same weight. And here is the truth. The cost of obedience will feel heavy, but the cost of disobedience will destroy you. God's hand is strong enough to lift you, but He will not force you to rise. The door is open, but you must walk through. The crown is waiting, but you must reach for it. So pause right here. Break the silence. Let heaven hear your response. I want you to type these words in the comments. I choose now. Do not let the simplicity of those 3 words deceive you. They are a declaration in the spiritual realm. By writing it, you are rejecting the paralysis of indecision. By writing it, you are signaling to heaven, to angels, and to every demon watching that you have made your choice. Do not underestimate the power of this act. Many scroll through words like these, nod their heads, and move on, unchanged. But chosen ones respond. Chosen ones put faith into action, even in small steps. Your comment becomes a prophetic seed. It is you planting a flag in the ground of your destiny, saying, I belong to the Lord, and I will no longer waver. Beloved, do not delay. Do not let fear rob you of this moment. Every delay is a theft. Every excuse is a chain, but every act of obedience is a key. Tonight, you are being handed keys. Keys to freedom, keys to clarity, keys to authority. But keys unused remain powerless. You have asked, why does God feel silent sometimes? Often, His silence is not absence, but a waiting. He is waiting for your response, waiting for your yes, waiting for your surrender. Once your heart aligns, His voice comes rushing back like a river breaking its dam. This is that moment for you. Chosen one. Stand firm. Shake off hesitation. You are not weak. You are not forsaken. And you are not forgotten. You are standing where the old ends and the new begins. Do not waver another day. Step across the line. Seal it now. Heaven is watching. The earth is waiting. And your destiny is calling. Chosen one. Let us peel back the veil even further. You must know this truth. The darkness around you has not been random. It has been intentional, strategic, and carefully aimed. You may have thought some of your battles were mere bad luck, coincidences, or simply the hardness of life. But in the unseen realm, maps have been drawn, traps have been laid, and snares have been set to derail your calling. The enemy is not creative. He repeats patterns because he knows what often works against humanity. Yet he has underestimated one thing. You are not ordinary humanity. You are chosen, marked, and anointed. Still, his schemes often work because chosen ones forget the uniqueness of their calling and slip into the errors that keep them vulnerable. That is why this section comes as a warning, because to step into what is coming, you must know the mistakes that have cost so many their crowns. The first mistake is distraction. The enemy thrives not by overt destruction, but by quiet redirection. If he can keep your eyes on petty offenses, endless comparisons, and shallow pursuits, he doesn't need to destroy you outright. He knows you will self-sabotage by neglecting your true mission. Distraction is more dangerous than outright defeat, because it looks harmless while draining your focus. The second mistake is isolation without purpose. Yes, there are seasons when God sets you apart, when solitude is holy, but isolation birthed from bitterness or shame is different. That kind of isolation is a prison built by your own hands, and the enemy will lock you inside if you allow it. Many chosen ones have withdrawn so far from others that they suffocate the very calling meant to be shared with the world. Another mistake is compromise, disguised as wisdom. How many times have you heard voices telling you to tone it down, be realistic, or don't be so extreme? Those voices can sound logical, evenkind, but often they are snares designed to dilute your fire until it no longer burns brightly. The enemy knows he cannot extinguish you directly, so he tries to make you lukewarm. And lukewarm chosen ones are easily ignored. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 2. Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert justice by siding with the crowd. You must ask yourself, where have you allowed distraction to seep in? Where have you chosen isolation over accountability? Where have you compromised just enough to silence your fire? These are not questions meant to condemn you. They are mirrors meant to awaken you, because what is coming requires you to stand sharper, clearer, and stronger than ever before. Beloved, the enemy has drawn maps of your weaknesses. He knows where you get tired, where you get lonely, where you crave affirmation. He places snares in those exact spots, waiting for you to step carelessly. But today, revelation comes so that you may see those maps too. If you can recognize the traps, you can dismantle them before they destroy you. This is why your discernment must increase. Not every opportunity is from God. Not every open door is divine. Some doors lead to cages dressed up as palaces. Some friendships are actually assignments from the enemy, meant to whisper you away from your purpose. You must be vigilant, not suspicious, but spiritually sharp enough to know when something is not aligned with your calling. The cost of ignoring these truths is too high. Many chosen ones who once carried fire now sit in silence because they underestimated distraction, isolation, or compromise. Their voices are quiet, not because God removed them, but because they surrendered their authority piece by piece. You cannot afford that path. You are called higher, destined greater, marked deeper. So let this section be both a warning and an equipping. You now know the common mistakes. You now see the maps of the enemy's strategy. And with this knowledge comes responsibility to guard your heart, to sharpen your focus, to refuse compromise, and to keep your fire burning even when the crowd laughs, mocks, or rejects you. Chosen one, you are not random. You are not fragile. You are not easily broken, but you are still human. And that is why vigilance is required. Do not fall asleep when the battle intensifies. Stay awake. Stay alert. Heaven has already given you the strength to resist. You only need to recognize and act. And when you do, the maps of darkness will fail. The snares will snap back on the enemy's own hands. The very mistakes meant to trap you will become testimonies of your triumph. You will walk into the next season with clarity, authority, and the unmistakable mark of one who was tested, but not destroyed. Chosen one. Pause here and breathe in these words. You are standing at a holy reset. Heaven is rewriting contracts, renewing covenants, and realigning promises over your life. And in this moment, you are being invited to renew your yes in a way that shifts everything. Think of your life as a garden. Seeds have already been planted through your tears, your prayers, and your endurance. But soil left untended can be overtaken by weeds. Renewal is the act of pulling out what no longer belongs, watering what is righteous, and letting light reach what was buried. This section is your covenant reboot, the weeding out of distraction, the watering of purpose, and the light of God's word shining directly on you. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9, know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Then, this is the heartbeat of renewal. God has never forgotten his covenant with you. The question is, will you step into it with fresh faith? Will you water the garden again? Chosen one. Covenant is not just about promise, it is about partnership. A garden thrives when the gardener works with the soil, not against it. Likewise, your destiny thrives when you cooperate with heaven's design. But if you abandon your post, weeds take over. If you starve the roots, the fruit withers. Today, you are called to renew your commitment as the gardener of your own soul. Now, let me speak plainly and tenderly. This covenant renewal is not only spiritual, but also practical. The words you hear here, the flow of revelation pouring through this message, are like living water. They are not here to entertain you, but to sustain you. And just as a well must be dug deeper to give water to a whole community, so too must this channel, this voice, this ministry be sustained to keep pouring into your life and the lives of others. When you like and share, it is like adding sunlight to this garden, helping seeds break through the soil and reach others who are wandering in shadows. When you subscribe, it is like returning faithfully to water the ground, ensuring you do not miss the next rainfall of revelation. And when you give, when you donate, it is like placing fertilizer into the soil, enriching it so that the harvest is greater, stronger, and able to feed more souls than just your own. Do not misunderstand. This is not a demand, but an invitation. Just as a tree does not beg the sun for light, but simply receives. This ministry continues because chosen ones like you respond in faith. Your support is the unseen partnership that keeps this well flowing, this garden thriving, and this covenant alive. Think of it another way. Every candle can shine in a dark room, but when candles are placed together, the whole house blazes with light. Your like, your share, your subscription, your donation, they are not small gestures. They are flames that join with others to create a fire that no darkness can extinguish. Beloved, some of you have felt spiritually dry. You wonder why your prayers seem unanswered, why your strength feels drained. Often, the key is not more asking, but more giving. When you pour out, you make space for heaven to pour in. When you release what you hold tightly, you discover the abundance of God's provision rushing back into your hands. So here is the invitation. Step into covenant renewal, not just by words, but by action. Let your like be a light. Let your share be a seed. Let your subscription be a watering can. Let your donation be fertilizer for the harvest. Do it not out of guilt, but out of joy, because you recognize that you are part of something bigger than yourself. Remember, chosen one. A single seed does not remain a seed. It becomes a tree that provides shade for the weary, fruit for the hungry, and roots that stabilize the soil around it. Your covenant act today is not just about you. It is about the generations that will taste the fruit of your faithfulness. You are not alone in this. Every act of obedience echoes in heaven. Every step of generosity is written in the eternal records. The God who keeps covenant for 1,000 generations will honor your faith, will multiply your seed, and will turn your small yes into a great harvest. So renew your covenant today. Align your heart again, and let your actions, whether in liking, sharing, subscribing, or giving, be the tangible expression of your unseen faith. Heaven is watching. The soil is ready. The seeds are waiting. The harvest is near. Step boldly into covenant reboot, and watch as God multiplies your obedience into something greater than you ever imagined. Chosen one, the hour grows heavier still. You have crossed thresholds of truth. You have seen the maps of your enemy, and you have begun to renew your covenant. Now, heaven requires not silence but declaration. There are moments when words whispered in private are enough, but there are also moments when you must proclaim aloud. Write it boldly, and let both heaven and darkness know exactly where you stand. This is one of those moments. Beloved, words carry weight. They are not empty sounds. Words create worlds. When you speak, you build. When you declare, you shift atmospheres. That is why your silence has been attacked so fiercely. The enemy knows that a silent chosen one is a contained chosen one, but a chosen one who dares to speak faith becomes unstoppable. Numbers in Scripture are never random. They are prophetic, symbolic, carrying mysteries that stretch across generations. Numbers mark divine moments, seal promises, and declare shifts. And tonight, you will not only hear, but also participate in one of those declarations. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 121, verse 2. My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. This is the anchor for you now. Your help does not come from friends, from systems, from earthly strength. It comes from the one who carved mountains, who laid the oceans, who placed stars in the sky. And just as creation itself bears his fingerprints, so too does your destiny carry his seal. When you type 444, you are saying, my foundation is not in shifting sand, but in the rock who made heaven and earth. You are declaring that even if storms rage, your life will not collapse, because your help comes from the Lord. This is more than a number. It is a banner you raise in the unseen realm. Do not underestimate the power of this act. You may think, It is only typing in a comment, but in the Spirit. It is a stone of remembrance. Just as Israel piled stones to mark where God delivered them, you are marking this moment with a prophetic act. You are saying, "Here is where I stood firm. Here is where I aligned with heaven. Here is where my help became visible." Endu, chosen one. This is not about impressing others. This is about solidifying your faith. Too often you have hidden your conviction, spoken softly so as not to offend, retreated so as not to be seen. But now, heaven says, declare it, seal it, announce it. The declaration is not for God's benefit. He already knows your heart. It is for your benefit, to anchor your soul, to silence the accuser, to remind yourself that your help is divine, not human. Think of Gideon. He was hiding in fear when God called him a mighty warrior. The moment he declared his allegiance, the Spirit clothed him with power. Think of Joshua. He stood before the people and said, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." That declaration was not about words. It was about a foundation laid in the Spirit. Tonight, when you type 444, you are joining that lineage. Do you feel the weight of this moment? It is not trivial. Heaven marks what you write, what you declare, what you release, and every act of faith, no matter how small, becomes a seed. The seed of your comment may seem insignificant now, but it becomes a tree of stability tomorrow. Beloved, storms are coming. That is why this foundation matters. Shaking is on the horizon. That is why you must be established. The world around you may collapse, but you will not, because your help is not in the world, it is in the Lord. Every time your eyes lift to the mountains, every time fear whispers, you are alone. This declaration becomes your reminder. No, my help comes from the Maker of heaven and earth. So pause now. Chosen one, do not let fear silence you. Do not scroll past. Seal your faith. Write it boldly, 444. By doing so, you are engraving your trust into eternity. You are saying, "Lord, ground me, establish me, secure me," and heaven responds with strength that cannot be shaken. You are chosen. You are established. You are built on rock, not sand. And because of that, you will endure. You will rise. And you will walk into what is coming with unshakable stability. Chosen one, hear carefully. Mercy is not endless when it is resisted. Grace is wide, but it is not without boundaries. This is not meant to instill fear in you, but reverence. You are stepping into a season where delay has consequences, where hesitation can cost you treasures meant to be yours. Heaven is patient, but heaven is also purposeful. Think back to the times when you felt conviction stir in your heart, those nudges to change, those whispers urging you to let go of certain habits, relationships, or ways of thinking. At first, those nudges were strong, impossible to ignore, but when you silenced them, they grew quieter. That is the danger of delay. What was once loud becomes faint, and what was once clear becomes blurred. The prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it, it will certainly come and will not delay. This scripture reveals a mystery. There is an appointed time for every revelation, a divine window for every act of obedience. When you align with that timing, doors open, strength comes, favor flows. But when you miss it, the moment can pass, and the delay becomes costly, not because God is cruel, but because His plans move forward and windows of opportunity close. Beloved, you cannot afford to keep putting off what you know you must do. Procrastination is not harmless. It is rebellion in disguise. Every time you postpone obedience, you say, "My timing is more important than God's timing." And though His mercy covers weakness, His mercy does not bend to stubbornness forever. There comes a point where mercy steps back and consequences step forward. Look at the story of Lot's wife. She was given clear instructions: do not look back. Yet, in hesitation, she turned her gaze toward what was already judged. And in that moment, mercy withdrew. She was frozen where she stood, a monument of delayed obedience. Chosen one, you cannot afford to look back when heaven calls you forward. Or think of King Saul. He was anointed, chosen, empowered, yet he delayed in obeying the command of the Lord. Instead of waiting for Samuel, he took matters into his own hands. That single act of hesitation, half obedience mixed with fear, cost him the crown. The warning is clear: delayed obedience is disobedience. Do you see now why the urgency presses on your spirit? Heaven knows what is ahead. Heaven knows the storms approaching, the battles rising, the weight of glory waiting. And heaven calls you to move now, not later, because what you postpone today may be impossible tomorrow. Beloved, this is not condemnation, it is invitation. It is God's love that warns you, because He does not want you to miss what has been prepared. Like a parent calling a child away from danger, His voice rises when you draw near to cliffs. He does not shout because He is angry. He shouts because He loves. Mercy is still here. The window is still open. The revelation is still waiting for you to grasp it. But you must act. You must align. You must treat this moment as holy, because it is. Ask yourself, where have I delayed? What obedience have I postponed? What instructions have I silenced because they felt inconvenient? Write them on the tablets of your heart, because God is not reminding you for shame, but for freedom. He is giving you another chance to step into the appointed time. Do not let the enemy whisper lies that you have already missed it completely. If you are hearing this word now, it is proof that mercy has not closed the door yet. You are still invited, still called, still capable of responding. But the call is clear. The time for hesitation is over. Beloved, sharpen your resolve. Do not waver between options any longer. Do not weigh obedience as if it were a burden. It is your doorway to destiny. The weight of delay is far heavier than the weight of obedience. Choose the lighter yoke, the one that leads to life. You are chosen for such a time as this. Do not freeze when heaven says move. Do not turn back when heaven says forward. And do not wait when heaven says now. Mercy has held you, covered you, shielded you. But mercy also warns, do not delay. Walk into this moment with sobriety. Carry it with reverence. For what is coming requires your yes today, not tomorrow. Heaven is waiting. The earth is groaning. The Spirit is stirring. Step into alignment now. Chosen one, you have been told of the traps, the delays, and the urgency of obedience. But now comes the unveiling of your inner army. For too long you have believed you were outnumbered, overpowered, unprepared, yet within you burns a strength that has not yet been fully awakened. This is the time to learn how to ignite it. Understand this. Spiritual warfare does not begin outside of you, it begins within. The greatest battlefield you will ever face is not in distant lands, nor in the schemes of others, but in your own mind and heart. The whispers of fear, the claws of doubt, the constant pull toward despair. These are the enemies that camp inside. But when you rise against them, you will discover that your inner army is more powerful than any force that comes against you. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. This is the key. If the heart is guarded, the inner army stands strong. If the heart is left exposed, every arrow finds its mark. That is why your first weapon is vigilance over what enters your heart, what you meditate on, what you believe, what you allow to shape your identity. Beloved, do not think of guarding your heart as passive protection. It is active warfare. Every time you reject the lie that says you are weak, you unsheathe a sword. Every time you declare truth over yourself, you fire an arrow of light into the darkness. Every moment you choose faith instead of fear, you fortify your walls with divine strength. The inner army is not made of flesh and blood, but of spirit and conviction. It is built from resilience, from prayer, from the Word of God hidden within you. This is why the enemy tries so hard to weary you, to drain you, to silence your prayers, because if your inner army awakens, you become unstoppable. Think of David. Before he ever faced Goliath, he fought lions and bears in secret. Those unseen battles trained his inner army, so that when the giant appeared, he was already prepared. In the same way, your private struggles, the wars fought in silence, are shaping an inner strength you may not yet recognize. Think of Joseph, betrayed, enslaved, imprisoned, yet in every season he kept his heart aligned with God. His inner army refused bitterness, refused despair, refused to surrender. And in the appointed time, that inner strength carried him into rulership over nations. Beloved, you too are being trained. The sleepless nights, the secret tears, the private rejections, they are not meaningless. They are the training grounds where your inner army sharpens its weapons. Every scar is not a wound, but a badge of preparation. You may say, "But I feel weak, unworthy, exhausted." That is because the battle within you has been fierce. But do not mistake exhaustion for defeat. The very fact that you are still standing, still breathing, still listening, is proof that your inner army has not been destroyed. It is rising even now. Guard your heart. Chosen one, protect what is sacred. Do not let bitterness take root, for bitterness poisons the well. Do not let fear anchor you, for fear paralyzes the warrior. Do not let shame linger, for shame blinds you to the authority you carry. Instead, fill your heart with truth, hope, and the promises of God. In doing so, you feed your inner army with strength that cannot be stolen. Do not underestimate small victories. Every time you refuse to lash out when anger tempts you, you win. Every time you rise from your bed when despair whispers, you win. Every time you choose prayer over silence, you win. These are the drills of your inner army, the exercises that make you strong enough for the battles ahead. Soon, the external battles will come. Giants will appear. Storms will rise. But you will not be caught unprepared, because your inner army will already be awake. And when the clash comes, you will find that you are not fighting alone. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is the general of your inner army, leading you into victory. Chosen one, lift your head. The war within you is not meant to break you, but to reveal you. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the commander of your soul. With God's Spirit as your strength, you can silence the lies, shatter the fears, and rise into the fullness of who you are. The world may still see your scars, your tears, your fragile humanity, but heaven sees a warrior clothed in unseen armor, carrying weapons forged in secret fire. And when you step forward, that inner army will march with you, unshaken, unbroken, unafraid. Chosen one, you must face a truth many try to ignore. Betrayal rarely comes from enemies outside the camp. It comes from voices you once trusted. The quiet betrayals, the subtle compromises, the gentle suggestions to step away from fire. These are far more dangerous than open attacks. For when the blow comes from the outside, you brace yourself. But when it comes from the inside, it cuts deeper. You have felt this, haven't you? The sting of someone who claimed to love you, yet their actions revealed otherwise. The silence of those who should have defended you, but stayed still. The counsel of friends who dressed compromise as wisdom. These wounds are not accidental. They are crafted by the adversary to dishearten chosen ones. If he cannot defeat you with external pressure, he tries to collapse your strength through internal betrayal. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 13, verse 18, "He who shared my bread has turned against me." These were the words Jesus spoke. Knowing Judas sat at his table, he was not surprised, but he was wounded. And so are you. To share bread with someone, to give them your trust, and then to feel that trust shattered, that is the deepest kind of pain. Yet even this, beloved, is part of the refining of the chosen. Why? Because betrayal teaches you to discern. It trains your spirit to hear the difference between words and intentions, between appearances and truth. It sharpens your eyes, so you can tell who is for you and who is against you, even when their faces smile. But listen carefully. Do not let betrayal make you bitter. That is the trap. The wound is real, but bitterness is poison. Bitterness hardens the heart until love no longer flows. If the enemy cannot stop you with betrayal itself, he will try to stop you with the bitterness that follows. Guard yourself against it, for bitterness will turn your scars into shackles. Chosen one, you must rise from betrayal differently. You cannot allow their rejection to define your worth. You cannot let their silence you. You cannot let their compromise become your pattern. Instead, let betrayal become fuel. Let it remind you that your calling is too important to be wasted on pleasing those who will never see your value. Think of Joseph, sold by his own brothers. imprisoned by lies, forgotten by those he helped, yet betrayal did not end him. It positioned him. In the end, he could say, "You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." And the betrayal became the bridge to his throne. Think of David, hunted by Saul, betrayed by Absalom, mocked by companions, yet every betrayal drew him deeper into the heart of God. His psalms, birthed in rejection, became the songs of generations. What wounded him became worship that still strengthens us today. Beloved, the betrayals in your life are not wasted either. They are testimonies being written. They are sharpening the steel of your soul. They are proving that even when the closest ones turn away, God remains. The betrayal is painful, but it is not final. So here is what you must do. Forgive, but do not return to blindness. Release, but do not forget the lessons. Love, but do not surrender your discernment. Walk forward lighter, wiser, and stronger. For when you respond this way, betrayal loses its power, and you emerge victorious. And now, I want you to seal this moment with a declaration. In the comments, type these words: "I forgive fully." 3 words, yet they carry eternal weight. By writing them, you are not excusing what was done to you, you are releasing its hold over you. You are saying, "This wound will not define me. This pain will not anchor me. This betrayal will not chain me." Forgiveness is not weakness, it is warfare. It disarms the enemy who hoped the wound would bleed you dry. Do not underestimate the power of your declaration. When you write, "I forgive fully," you align with heaven's mercy. You open your heart to healing. You refuse to let bitterness rot your foundation. And you declare that betrayal will not turn you into what hurt you. Chosen one, you are not a victim of betrayal. You are a survivor of it. More than that, you are a victor through it. Those who turned away cannot stop what God has ordained. Those who spoke against you cannot cancel the promise over you. Those who betrayed you cannot prevent the crown waiting for you. So lift your head, wipe the tears, let the scars remain, not as reminders of pain, but as evidence of your endurance. Walk forward free, clean-hearted, unchained. For the one who forgives fully is the one who walks in true strength. And you, beloved, are chosen to carry that strength. Chosen one. The crown that waits for you is not cheaply made. It is not a plastic imitation or a fading ornament. It is a crown of glory, forged in fire, polished by tears, and secured by obedience. But to wear it, you must be willing to prepare your life as a vessel worthy of such weight. A crown is not only a symbol of honor, it is also a mantle of responsibility. And heaven is shaping you for that moment. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to all who longed. This is your inheritance, not a fading reward, but a lasting crown. And yet, the preparation for it requires pruning, just as a gardener cuts branches not to destroy the tree but to make it more fruitful. So too does heaven prune your life, removing what is unnecessary, reshaping what is tangled, until only what is strong and fruitful remains. Beloved, think of your journey like a vineyard. The vine does not resist the pruning shears because it knows the gardener sees what it cannot see. Every cut, every removal, is not loss but preparation for abundance. In the same way, when God removes certain people, habits, or comforts from your life, it is not to strip you bare, it is to ready you for greater fruit. Now, let me speak plainly to your heart with sincerity. The words you hear here, the flow of messages pouring week after week, are like pruning shears, guided in love. They cut away lies. Water your faith and lift your eyes to the crown waiting ahead. But for this vineyard to keep thriving, for these messages to keep flowing, it requires more than one gardener. It requires a community of hands. When you like this message, it is as though you are watering the soil, making sure the roots of this work do not run dry. When you share, it is like carrying fruit from one tree to another, spreading nourishment to those who hunger in silence. When you subscribe, it is like returning faithfully to the vineyard, tending it regularly so you can taste every new harvest. And when you donate, beloved, it is like bringing fertilizer to the roots, ensuring the vineyard not only survives but flourishes enough to feed nations. Do not think of this as obligation. Think of it as partnership. Imagine a great lamp shining in a dark valley. Alone, its light may reach only a few. But when others bring oil, when others keep the flame burning, the light grows stronger, brighter, visible from far away. Your support, your like, your share, your subscription, your donation is oil poured into this flame, and together we make sure it never goes out. Chosen one, your crown is connected not just to what you receive, but to what you release. Every act of generosity plants a seed in eternity. Every moment of partnership builds a legacy that will outlive you. You may think, what I can give is small, but small seeds grow into mighty trees, and mighty trees feed generations. Look at the crown again. It is not made only of gold, it is made of sacrifice, of obedience, of faithfulness. And part of that faithfulness is how you steward what is placed in your hands. When you release it into good soil, when you partner with the work of God, you align with heaven's design for multiplication. Think of the widow who gave 2 small coins to others. It seemed insignificant, but to heaven, it was treasure beyond measure. Why? Because she gave from her heart. Because she recognized that every seed matters when placed in God's hands. So too, every act of yours, whether liking, sharing, subscribing, or giving, becomes multiplied in ways you cannot yet see. Beloved, you are not just preparing for your crown, you are preparing others for theirs. Your obedience, your generosity, your alignment helps build an atmosphere where many can awaken to their calling. You are not walking alone in this vineyard. You are part of a greater family, a chosen army, each tending the soil so that the harvest can feed multitudes. So walk faithfully, wear your pruning with humility, and let your support, whether in engagement or generosity, be an offering that reflects your longing for the crown of righteousness. Heaven sees, heaven records, and heaven multiplies every act of faith. The crown is near. Chosen one, the preparation is almost complete. Walk with reverence, partner with purpose, and know that every step, every seed, every act of obedience brings you closer to the day when the righteous judge himself places that crown upon your head. Chosen one, listen carefully. There are seasons in your life when doors remain shut, no matter how hard you knock, no matter how fervently you pray, no matter how desperately you wait. And then, without warning, a door swings open. Suddenly, what was impossible is standing in front of you, wide and undeniable. These are not accidents, they are divine openings. But the question is never about the door, it is always about your posture when it opens. Sudden doors require readiness. If you approach them unprepared, you may step into places where you cannot sustain yourself. But if you posture your heart rightly, those sudden openings become highways into destiny. This is why discernment is crucial now, because not every open door is divine, and not every opportunity is for you. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7, "Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you." And notice the promise, the door will open. The challenge is not whether God opens it, but whether you are ready to step through when it does. Many chosen ones ask, seek, and knock. But when the door appears, fear holds them back. Others rush through doors they prayed for, only to realize their hearts were unprepared for the wait on the other side. Beloved, the sudden door is both blessing and test. It reveals the condition of your trust. If your heart is anchored in God, you will walk through boldly. If your heart is anchored in fear, you will hesitate, question, and miss the timing. This is why God often delays the door until your posture is corrected, because a premature entrance can ruin a destiny. Think of Peter. He longed to walk on water, and when the door opened, he stepped out. His faith carried him across waves, but his eyes, when shifted from Jesus to the storm, began to sink him. The door was real, but his posture determined whether he walked or drowned. Think of Paul and Silas in prison. At midnight, chains broke, and doors flew open, yet they did not flee in panic. They discerned the moment and stayed. And because of their posture, the jailer and his household were saved. The open door was not just for their freedom, it was for someone else's salvation. Chosen one. Sudden doors are never only about you. They are about those connected to your destiny. The posture you carry when stepping through will determine not just your outcome, but theirs as well. This is why humility, patience, and discernment are non-negotiable. Guard your heart against pride when the door opens. Some, after years of waiting, rush in with arrogance, forgetting that the opening is not a reward for their greatness, but a gift of grace. Others, overwhelmed by unworthiness, shrink back when the door stands wide, refusing to believe they are ready. Both extremes are traps. Your posture must be humble, confidence, not pride, not fear, but trust. You must also resist the urge to force doors open. The enemy loves to present counterfeit doors opportunities that look shiny but lead to cages. They appeal to impatience, promising quick results. But chosen ones know that timing is as important as opportunity. A premature door is not a blessing, it is a snare. So, how do you posture yourself for sudden openings? Stay watchful. Keep your oil ready. Like the wise virgins in the parable, do not let your lamp go out while you wait. Stay prayerful, tuning your heart to the Spirit's whisper so you recognize when the true door swings wide. Stay pure, guarding your motives so that when you enter, you carry light, not hidden agendas. Beloved, do not fear the suddenness of what is coming. God has been preparing you all along. Even in seasons that felt wasted, the waiting was training. The delays were sharpening. The silence was deepening your roots. The door will open at the precise moment when you can carry what is behind it. And when it does, walk through boldly. Do not hesitate. Do not linger in old places when a new season calls. Do not cling to broken walls when gates of promise stand wide. Trust the one who opens the door, and trust the preparation he has built within you. The sudden opening is near. Chosen one, lift your eyes, steady your heart, and posture yourself well. The knock has already echoed in heaven. The handle is turning. Be ready to walk through. Chosen one. The atmosphere around you is shifting. You can sense it, something unseen, pressing closer. Something greater, calling louder. What has been hidden in the shadows is now being revealed in light. But revelation always demands a response. To hear is one thing, to declare is another. And heaven is not seeking silent listeners, it is seeking bold responders. Numbers, beloved, are not meaningless symbols. They are codes written into creation. Patterns heaven uses to mark time. Seal promises and confirm direction. Every time you see them, they carry a weight, a whisper from eternity saying, "Pay attention. Something is being established." You are now standing in such a moment. The ancient words recorded in Romans, chapter 8, verse 31, still echo today. What, then, shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? This is not just a verse, it is a seal. A reminder that no power in heaven or on earth can overturn the decree spoken over your life. Yet notice the question, what shall we say in response? It does not ask what we will feel or what we will think. It asks what we will say, because silence is not enough. The kingdom is built on declarations. So here is the prophetic act heaven is asking of you. Comment the number 555. Do not take it lightly. In Scripture, the number 5 is tied to grace, to divine favor, to the empowering hand of God. And when it repeats 555, it multiplies the message, grace upon grace upon grace. By writing it, you are declaring, grace surrounds me. Grace covers me. Grace carries me. Lent, chosen one. This is not about typing numbers for appearance. This is about opening your mouth, your hand, your heart to agree with heaven. When you type 555, you are aligning yourself with divine empowerment. You are saying that your destiny is not sustained by your own strength, but by the supernatural grace of God. Why is this important? Because the battles ahead are too great for human strength. The doors opening before you are too weighty for human effort. You will need grace, the unearned, unstoppable, overflowing favor of God to carry you through. And heaven is asking you to seal your faith with this prophetic act. Think of Paul. He cried out about the thorn in his flesh, begging for relief. But the answer from heaven was not removal, but grace. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. That is the essence of 555, grace multiplied. Strength perfected in weakness. Favor multiplied where struggle once stood. Beloved, every time you comment 555, you are reminding your spirit of this truth. You are not walking alone. You are not fighting alone. You are not enduring alone. You are upheld by the hand of grace, and that grace will not fail. This number is also a reminder of transition. In biblical patterns, 5 often marks movement, progress, steps forward. The triple echo 555 means the time for stagnation is over. You are being pushed forward, moved into a new alignment, shifted into a season where grace propels you faster than your own effort ever could. Do not underestimate the power of prophetic acts. Israel built memorials out of stones to remember where God had moved. Prophets declared words aloud to shift nations. The early church broke bread and drank wine, not out of routine, but to declare Christ's covenant again and again. And now, heaven asks you to declare through this number, to mark this moment, to etch it into eternity, to let both angels and demons know, grace reigns over my life. So pause now. Beloved, resist the urge to scroll past. Take this moment seriously. Write 555 and let it be a banner over you. You are not doing this alone. You are joining with countless others who have responded, creating a chorus of declarations rising to heaven. Together, these numbers form a wall of faith, a shield of grace, a testimony that cannot be erased. When you declare this, you are stepping into the promise of Romans 8:31. If God is for you, who can be against you? No betrayal, no delay, no shadow. No scheme can stand against multiplied grace. And grace, chosen one, is what will carry you into the season ahead. So let it be sealed now. Let it be written in the comments, written in your spirit, written in eternity. 555, grace upon grace upon grace, chosen one. It is time to face one of the most misunderstood seasons in your journey, the wilderness. Many mistake it for punishment, imagining that God has abandoned them or turned his face away. But the wilderness is not rejection. It is refinement. It is not exile. It is training ground. The wilderness strips away what is unnecessary so that what is eternal can remain. It removes the noise of the crowd so that the voice of heaven can be heard clearly. It breaks attachments to temporary comforts so that your spirit can anchor in what cannot be shaken. Though painful, though lonely, the wilderness is the most sacred classroom of all. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Hosea. Chapter 2, verse 14. Therefore I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. Notice this. God does not drive his chosen into the wilderness to destroy them. He leads them there to woo them, to whisper to them, to speak tenderly. The wilderness, then, is not a place of divine anger, but of divine intimacy. It is where distractions fall silent, and only the voice of the beloved remains. Consider Israel's 40 years. The wilderness revealed their unbelief, but it also revealed God's faithfulness. Manna fell daily. Water flowed from rocks. A cloud covered them by day, and fire lit their nights. Everything they needed was provided, not by human hands, but by divine supply. The wilderness taught them dependence, stripping away the illusion of self-sufficiency. Consider Jesus. Led by the Spirit, into the wilderness after his baptism. For 40 days he was tested, tempted, and pressed. Yet in that barren place, he overcame the adversary, proving the strength of the word hidden in him. The wilderness was not his defeat, it was his unveiling. From there, he stepped into his public ministry clothed in power. Beloved, if you feel abandoned, if you feel stripped, if you feel alone, you are not being punished, you are being prepared. The wilderness is heaven's strategy for intimacy and strength. It is the furnace that burns away every false reliance so that only true faith remains. Do not despise your wilderness. Do not curse it. Lean into it. Ask, what am I being taught here? What is being removed? What is being planted? For the wilderness is never empty. It is full of divine lessons. Though hidden beneath the silence, the danger is to try to escape too quickly. Many, weary of the silence, run back to old comforts, only to forfeit the treasures that would have been theirs had they endured. Others complain endlessly, turning the wilderness into a prison of their own making. But those who embrace the wilderness discover a richness that cannot be found anywhere else. It is in the wilderness that your identity is clarified. You are no longer who the crowd says you are, no longer who your past declared you to be. You become who God whispers you are. In the silence, lies lose their grip, and truth settles deeply. It is in the wilderness that your strength is tested. You learn to live without applause, without recognition, without constant affirmation. Your roots grow deeper, reaching into hidden streams. And when the winds come later, you do not topple, because you learn to stand in solitude. And it is in the wilderness that intimacy blossoms, stripped of distraction. You learn to lean on God as your sole companion. His voice grows familiar, His presence undeniable. What once felt like loneliness transforms into communion. Beloved, your wilderness is not wasted. It is a divine appointment. Though others may look at your barren season and think you have failed, heaven sees you as being refined for greater glory. Do not measure this time by external fruit. Measure it by the depth of roots being formed within you. When the wilderness ends, and it will end, you will emerge different. You will not crave the same things. You will not fear the same shadows. You will not bow to the same pressures. You will walk out stronger, clearer, and marked by intimacy with God. Chosen one, if you are in the wilderness now, let peace settle over you. You are not lost. You are led. You are not abandoned. You are attended. And though the land feels barren, streams are flowing beneath the surface. This is the hidden gift of the wilderness. It prepares you for promises too heavy to carry otherwise. It builds in you the stamina to endure glory, the humility to handle authority, and the intimacy to remain anchored no matter how high you rise. So embrace it. Beloved, do not resist the solitude. Do not despise the silence. This is not exile, it is preparation. The wilderness is where chosen ones are refined into leaders, warriors, and torchbearers. And you, too, are being transformed here. Chosen one. Though the wilderness may seem like isolation, you were never meant to walk your destiny entirely alone. Heaven weaves certain people into your path not by coincidence, but by covenant. Allies are not accidents, they are divine appointments. And part of your preparation for what is coming is learning how to discern them, cherish them, and guard against those who only masquerade as companions. From the very beginning, God declared that it is not good for humanity to be alone. This was not just about marriage, but about the design of community, the interweaving of lives to strengthen and sustain one another. You carry a light, but there are moments when another chosen one's light is placed beside yours, and together the flame burns brighter. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 27, "Now you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it." This truth is both humbling and empowering. You are chosen. Yes, but you are also part of something larger. You are not an isolated warrior on a battlefield. You are one member of an army, one part of a body, one voice in a chorus. To deny this is to rob yourself of the strength that flows from godly companionship. Beloved, true allies are rare, but they are recognizable. They do not compete with your calling, they celebrate it. They do not exploit your vulnerability, they guard it. They do not vanish when storms rise, they stand closer, even when it costs them. These are not casual acquaintances, they are covenant partners, chosen by God to walk beside you in critical seasons. Look at the story of David and Jonathan. Their souls were knit together, not by ambition or convenience, but by divine design. Jonathan saw the crown on David's life, and instead of envying it, he protected it. That is the mark of a true ally. They are willing to decrease so that God's plan in you may increase. Contrast this with Judas. He walked with Jesus, heard his words, even shared bread with him, yet betrayal brewed in his heart. Not all who walk near you are allies. Some are spectators, some are opportunists, some are wolves in sheep's clothing. Discernment is your shield. Chosen one, do not assume that proximity equals loyalty. This is why prayerful discernment in relationships is essential. You must learn to ask, does this person push me closer to God or pull me further away? Do they strengthen my courage or feed my doubts? Do they remind me of my identity when I forget? Or do they exploit my moments of weakness? The answers will reveal whether they are covenant allies or camouflage distractions. Beloved, you must also recognize that you are called to be an ally for others. This is not a one-sided gift. Just as you long for companions who will guard your crown, others long for the same from you. Faithfulness in friendship, loyalty in hardship, encouragement in weakness. These are not small gestures. They are kingdom acts. Think of Ruth, who clung to Naomi when leaving would have been easier. Her words still echo through time. Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people. Your God, my God. That kind of loyalty became the bridge that carried her into destiny, linking her to the lineage of kings. Chosen one. Allies are not perfect people, but they are purposeful people. They are human, with flaws and weaknesses. Yet God uses them as vessels of strength in your life. Honor them. Do not take their presence lightly. Relationships birthed in covenant are among heaven's greatest gifts. But also, be wise. Not everyone deserves full access to your heart. Jesus himself had crowds, followers, disciples, the 12, the 3, and finally, the solitude of prayer with his Father. Different circles carried different levels of intimacy. Learn from his example. Do not give Judas the access meant only for John. Beloved, you are stepping into a season where allies will matter more than ever. Destiny is never fulfilled in isolation. It is fulfilled in divine partnership. Heaven will send you people who recognize your crown, not because they want it, but because they are called to guard it with you. So open your eyes. Recognize the difference between companions sent to sharpen you and distractions sent to dull you. Cherish those who strengthen your spirit, and release those who drain it. And above all, remember this: allies are not accidents. They are heaven's reminder that while you are chosen, you are also connected. Walk humbly. Chosen one. Carry gratitude for those God has placed beside you. And may your eyes sharpen to see the difference between the counterfeit and the true. For what is coming will not be carried alone. It will be carried together. Chosen one. Hear me. Every battle requires a sound. Silence may carry peace, but war demands a song. And you are stepping into a season where your spirit must learn to sing in the middle of the fire, to declare victory even before the sword is drawn. This is your battle hymn, the anthem of the chosen, rising together as one. We find in the book of Psalms, chapter 149, verse 6, "May the praise of God be in their mouths, and a double-edged sword in their hands." This is no ordinary verse. It is a blueprint for how chosen ones fight. Your praise is not soft background music. It is a weapon. Your voice is not fragile breath. It is a trumpet blast that terrifies darkness. When you sing, you wage war. When you declare, you strike blows the enemy cannot withstand. Beloved, imagine your life as a battlefield. There are valleys where shadows gather, mountains where strongholds stand, and trenches where fear tries to dig in. Now imagine your voice rising in the midst of it all, like a shofar breaking the silence, echoing across the field. Your song becomes a banner, your declaration becomes a sword, and suddenly, the battlefield begins to shift. But let us be clear, you do not fight alone. This message, this space, this channel is like a campfire in the valley of war. You come here to warm your soul, to sharpen your sword, to remember that you are part of an army. And for this campfire to keep burning, it needs more than one log. It needs the steady, faithful hands of chosen ones adding fuel. When you light this word, it is as though you are striking a match, adding spark to flame. When you share, you are carrying firebrands to other soldiers wandering in darkness, giving them light to see their path. When you subscribe, you are returning to the camp regularly, refusing to let the fire die out. And when you donate, beloved, it is like laying down wood at the altar, ensuring the flame grows stronger, higher, brighter enough to call others home to the fire. This is not about obligation. It is about partnership in battle. You know the weight of loneliness. You know the ache of fighting unseen wars. How many others are still out there, waiting for a word, a song, a flame to guide them? Your act of support, whether in engagement or in generosity, becomes the rope that pulls them out of the pit. And here, I want to ask something simple of you. Leave a comment below. Write not just a reaction, but a declaration. It can be as short as a few words, but let it come from your spirit. Because when you comment, you are not just speaking into the void, you are adding your voice to the battle hymn. You are saying, I am here. I am chosen. I will not be silent. No, think of a choir. One voice can sing beautifully, but when joined with others, the harmony shakes walls. That is what happens here. Every like is a note. Every share, a chord. Every subscription, a rhythm. Every donation, a sustaining bass line. Every comment, a melody. Together, we are composing a song that no darkness can drown out. Beloved, you must see this with your spirit's eyes. The war you fight is not only for yourself. Your voice strengthens another soldier. Your comment breaks another chain. Your generosity fuels another torchbearer. This is how chosen ones win, not in isolation, but in chorus. And this hymn is not only sung in times of triumph, it is sung in prisons, like Paul and Silas at midnight. When walls trembled and chains fell, it is sung in valleys, like Jehoshaphat's army, who placed singers in front of warriors and watched enemies scatter. It is sung at the edge of Red Seas, at the foot of Jericho's walls, in caves where David strummed psalms, and it will be sung by you, here, now. So, raise your voice, add your flame, sow your seed, whether in likes, shares, subscriptions, donations, or comments. Do it as part of the hymn, not out of compulsion, but out of faith, not as duty, but as declaration. Every action becomes a note in this great anthem, rising higher than the noise of war. Chosen one, your battle hymn is being written now. Sing it with your life. Declare it with your actions. Let every engagement be a chord struck. Every act of generosity, a drumbeat. Every word of faith, a trumpet blast. Together, our song will shake the heavens and scatter the darkness. Chosen one, the glory that waits for you is not light. It is weight. It is not a passing thrill or a fleeting honor. It is substance, dense and heavy, like gold pressed into your spirit. And this is why you must be fitted for it. Glory does not rest on vessels unprepared, without strength, without depth, without discipline. The very thing meant to crown you could crush you. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. This is a command and a promise. Arise, because glory has come. But what is rarely spoken is this: when glory rises upon you, so does opposition. When the light shines brighter, the shadows deepen around it. When the glory descends, it tests whether your shoulders can carry it. Think of Joseph. The dream of rulership was placed in his heart as a boy, but he could not step into it immediately. He had to endure betrayal, slavery, prison. Each season was fitting him, strengthening him, teaching him stewardship. By the time the crown was laid on his head in Egypt, he was no longer the same boy. He was a vessel tested by fire, able to bear the glory without being destroyed by it. Think of Moses. He was called from birth to carry deliverance. Yet it took 40 years in Pharaoh's courts and another 40 in the wilderness before he could stand as a leader of nations. The glory of leading Israel out of Egypt was immense, but the preparation was even greater. Without it, the weight would have been too much to bear. Beloved, the same principle rests on you. Glory is coming, but preparation must precede, and this preparation is not always glamorous. It may feel like obscurity, like delay, like pruning, but in reality, it is heaven tailoring your spirit, enlarging your capacity, strengthening your inner frame to contain what is coming. Consider this: a fragile clay pot cannot carry molten gold. It would shatter instantly. But a pot reinforced by fire, hardened by the furnace, can hold what once seemed impossible. Your trials have been the furnace. Your tears have been the heat. Your perseverance has been the reinforcement. And soon, you will discover that you have been fashioned into a vessel able to carry divine weight. But glory is not only heavy, it is holy. This is why your character matters. Gifts may open doors, but only character sustains you once inside. Many rise quickly on talent, only to collapse because their integrity was too weak for the glory resting upon them. Beloved, this is why God insists on refining your motives, cleansing your desire, purifying your intentions. The glory must rest on shoulders that will not twist it into vanity. Do not despise the discipline of this season. Every no God speaks is not rejection, but protection. Every door he withholds is not cruelty, but mercy. He knows the weight of what you are about to carry, and he is ensuring you will not collapse beneath it. Beloved, glory also demands humility, to shine without arrogance, to rise without forgetting, to lead without exploiting. This is the rare jewel heaven seeks in chosen ones. Pride cracks vessels faster than pressure, but humility, true humility, creates unbreakable frames. That is why God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. You are being fitted for glory, not just for yourself, but for others. The light that rises on you is meant to illuminate paths for those walking in darkness. The favor on your life is meant to lift others higher. The weight of authority given to you is meant to break chains off those around you. Glory is never selfish. It always overflows. Chosen one, feel the seriousness of this. You are not being prepared for a small assignment. You are not being fitted for an ordinary life. Heaven's investment in you has been costly, because the glory placed upon you will be costly. And the greater the glory, the greater the preparation. Do not rush the process. Do not demand crowns before your shoulders are ready. Trust the timing. Embrace the discipline, and let the fire finish its work. For when the glory comes, and it will, you will not be crushed. You will stand tall, unbroken, shining, carrying what others could not, because you allowed yourself to be fitted first. Beloved, arise and shine, for your light has come. The weight of glory is drawing near. Stand ready, strengthened, and steady, for the Lord himself is clothing you with what you were born to carry. Chosen one, the path you have walked has not been in vain. Every scar, every night of silence, every tear shed in secrecy has been gathered by heaven. And now, as this journey reaches its final turn, you are being entrusted with a charge that cannot be ignored. It is not a suggestion, it is a summons. The voice of destiny is not whispering anymore, it is roaring. You stand at the edge of an open door, and this time, it will not close. It is wide, waiting, radiant, demanding that you step through. You are no longer in the season of preparation only, you are in the moment of movement. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 9, I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. End quote. This is the truth. The open door before you is not merely opportunity, it is Him. To step forward now is not to grasp after human ambition, but to walk directly into alignment with the Shepherd who has always guided you. Through Him, you find safety. Through Him, you find abundance. Through Him, you find your true pasture. Beloved, let the weight of this settle. The final charge upon your life is this: you are required to move. No more hesitation. No more excuses. No more circling around the same mountains of doubt and fear. The open door stands, and it will not close, but the responsibility to enter is yours. Do not mistake the tenderness of God's invitation for weakness. His gentleness is strength contained. His patience is power restrained. But His command is clear: step forward. The destiny you have glimpsed, the visions whispered in dreams, the fire burning in your chest, they are not fantasies. They are assignments, and assignments demand action. This is where many chosen ones falter. They love the promise, but resist the process. They long for the crown, but shrink from the cost. Yet you cannot remain in between. The final charge demands resolve. You must carry within you the unblinking gaze of one who has decided no turning back, nor looking sideways, no slowing down. Think of Joshua standing before the Jordan. The wilderness was behind, the promised land ahead. But the river did not part until they stepped in. The miracle waited for movement. So too with you, the breakthrough you have prayed for, the promises you have held onto, the calling that has burned within you, they await your step. Beloved, this is not only about your personal destiny. The open door is wide enough for many who will follow after you. Your obedience will ripple outward, breaking chains you may never see, lighting torches you may never hold, shifting generations you may never meet. That is why the charge is weighty. It is bigger than you. And so, you must rise with unshakable resolve. You must say within yourself, I will not waver. I will not delay. I will not shrink back. Heaven has written your name into this moment. The earth has groaned for your arrival. The door is open, and the charge is clear. Step through. You will feel resistance. Shadows always rise when light breaks forth, but you are no longer the hesitant one you once were. You are no longer the silenced, the wounded, the overlooked. You are the chosen, fitted for glory, armed with truth, surrounded by grace, and nothing, no scheme, no fear, no betrayal can stand against the decree of heaven. Beloved, this is the final unveiling. You are unstoppable. You are unshakable. You are crowned not for your own glory, but for His. You are charged not with a suggestion, but with a command. Move forward. The open door is not waiting for someone else. It is waiting for you. So take the step, cross the threshold, lift your head, steady your heart, and walk into what has always been yours. The final charge is not only about arrival, it is about embodiment. You are not simply stepping into destiny, you are becoming destiny. Chosen one. This is the moment. This is the hour. The charge is clear. The door is open, and the time is now. Step forward. Carry the fire. Walk through. Chosen one. You have walked through every word, carried the weight of every revelation, and stood tall through each warning, promise, and vision. This is not the end of a message. It is the continuation of your calling. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are sharpened, awakened, and aligned. But remember this: light was never meant to stay hidden under a bowl. Fire was never meant to burn only for itself. You have been entrusted with truth, and truth must travel. When you like and share this message, you are not just engaging, you are carrying torches into places where shadows still linger. Your act becomes a ripple that touches lives you may never see, but heaven records with joy. When you subscribe, it is like returning faithfully to a well that never runs dry. Each word that flows here is not entertainment, but living water. By staying connected, you ensure that your spirit is continually refreshed, continually sharpened, continually reminded of the fire within you. And when you give, when you donate, it is like laying another stone into the altar of this movement, ensuring the flame burns higher and brighter. It is not obligation, it is partnership. You are building something eternal, a place where chosen ones across the world can gather, be equipped, and rise together. I also invite you to comment below. Write from your spirit, declare what you are stepping into. Affirm what struck your soul. Release what you are leaving behind. Your words may be the lifeline another chosen one needs to read today. Beloved, you are chosen. You are marked. You are unstoppable. Let your voice, your engagement, your support be a declaration that you are ready, that you will not shrink back, that you are walking boldly into what God has prepared.